wavy beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad.
First get out into bus, you're like, oh no!
Yeah. I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
Yeah, because you haven't learnt anything.
Oh, shut up. Take my podcast.
Ooh.
I feel
Are you alright?
I think the last
Yeah.
time you did it, you were doing a shit yourself noise as well.
It was a bit of Jerry Lewis.
There's
a bit of Jerry Lewis.
It was a bit more like
There's continuity here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
That was
I'm
like,
glad you didn't go with creatively bankrupt.
I thought I was going to say
No,
that was more
'cause
Jerry
it's-
Lewis with
'cause
hemorrhoids.
it's more.
I was
it's
going
more
for like, I
constant-
hurt my back.
Yes.
Oh.
And Phil is back here
I'm back!
on
Ow.
Shut Up and Take My Podcast.
Ow! 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 It really hurts.
The Futurama podcast that pits episode against episode in a bloody, glorious gauntlet battle, back to back. Ha! Pun back for your entertainment. I'm just joined here by Phil.
For some squeaky, squishy, clean fun.
Oh, yes.
Sausages.
Very clean.
Hot dogs. Worse than sausages.
I don't know that they're that clean. But
Nope.
go on.
No, they are not. We're joined here by the ever clean Ellen.
Pardon my language, but this is ruffling my petticoats.
Oh.
And
We
we're
are
joined
joined
here
by
by Sean.
Sean.
Damn it!
I'm the one that's not going to be here next week because, sorry guys, I have circusitis.
Oh.
Quacky.
I was just about to ask, is it serious? No, it's not.
It can never be
it's
serious.
a very silly disease.
I love that side plot goes nowhere. It's perfect.
It's great.
Love it.
Wait, which one? Oh, sorry. Wait,
Circusitis
Wait,
goes
does
nowhere.
he disappear? Or no, he's just fine.
He's
Yeah, the
recovering
next
from his
scene.
circusitis.
Yeah.
It's a joke for that scene only. Like, it does not come back later.
They've crammed him in the back of a very small car.
He's better by the tornado scene.
Yeah.
So,
What I
yeah.
really wish they did is just like the undertones, just make it really dark. Hermes just does not come back for the rest of the episode. Like you don't see him.
Well, but you
He's
can,
in ICU.
but you can hear him.
Squeaky shoes.
Hey, what
I
do you
wish
reckon
you
it's
got
better to be? An actor or a clown?
What's the difference?
¿Por qué no dos?
I would say probably, I don't know. As a clown, you have more of a niche, so you're able to find employment because you're in a niche, but I think actors can do some of the things that clowns do, and you have a broader pool. Possibly.
Isn't your niche also mainly children's parties, which is a hellish landscape?
I was going to say, like, what's the actor's equivalent to, like, a sickness? And then I realized it's just depression.
I actually
Oh.
I was requested to be a clown at a child's birthday, and I made the birthday girl cry. And I was just like,
That's the opposite of what you meant to do.
No, that's top quality clowning.
Oh.
Okay, right.
that's A plus. That's what you want. But
Sorry, Sean.
And I was talking to someone
Haven't
the
read
other
the-
day, and they were like, "Oh, are you a performer?" And they were like, "Are you a clown?" I'm like, "Nah, man, that's just me."
Nah, man. Nah. Get away from me, kid.
Sorry about the squirty flower.
Guys.
So what episode does Hermes the Clown appear in?
Oh, Phil. Well, Hermes the Clown appears in Season 6, Episode 4, Proposition Infinity,
And beyond.
which is, besides a Toy Story reference.
So proposition, what was the proposition called in America?
Now, you take that infinity symbol and you turn it.
8.
Oh.
Proposition 8, of course. That's quite smart.
I do love it when Sean just like coaches us
Yes,
using
into the
every
answer.
fiber of his being.
Yeah. Oh, and it makes me feel so good on the inside. It's great.
Which was the proposition to legalize gay marriage.
Legalize it.
Legalize it!
Legalize it!
At the
State.
level in the US.
Which stemmed from California, I believe.
Were they the first state to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe. They were one of.
That
They were
makes
one
sense.
of the.
Yeah, that would make
Yeah.
sense.
Look, if we've got Proposition Infinity wrong, email us. Anywhere, any email, it'll get to
Email
us.
us about something unrelated.
Yeah.
But do
Please-
email us.
Please don't email us if you think Proposition 8 is wrong.
Yeah,
We don't care.
we disagree, but we're not going to explain why.
No.
The director for this episode is the debut of Crystal Chesney Thompson.
That's another
Oof.
great name.
Their
Hyphenated.
parents
It's
were-
hyphenated.
I
too.
bet their parents were hippies.
So Crystal Chesney Thompson.
Crystal
It's weird.
Chesney Thompson.
I feel like it
Works,
should be
it works.
said in the hedonism bot voice.
Oh, Crystal.
Oh,
You
fuck.
can't even get the name.
I want to say
Crystal.
Chrissy. for
Crystal.
sure.
Crystal. Maybe her friends call it Crystal.
Chrissy Chesney
Maybe.
Thompson.
Is it not the perfect combination of both hippie parent and also uptight horse? Like,
Horse
Uptight.
owning. Just horse, uptight horse.
Uptight horse. Who married
owning parents,
who married
yes.
a ghost.
yes.
So Crystal, she actually appears in this episode. She is Farnsworth's love interest,
Oh.
Eunice. Eunice was her name?
Eunice.
Unit.
Before-
Unit.
Before she turns into a robot version, but the human version, that's modelled after her. Because they wanted...
So
Oh, that's
she
lovely.
is a hippie.
Yeah.
She is very much looks like a hippie.
They
yeah.
wanted someone cute, yet intelligent and beautiful. And they thought, well, Chesney fits all those things. So
Oh,
let's-
That is so positive.
That's
I
very
love that.
nice.
Let's
Clearly,
lose her.
she's nice to work with.
yeah.
She didn't
I said
end
let's
up
lose
in-
her, but I
Then
didn't
turn her
use her.
into a mom
Yeah.
style surrogate, right?
Mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
The writer for this episode is Michael Rao, back from Bender's Game Part 3, but also before that, just because I want the reaction, back from Bend Her.
Oh.
Oh,
There we
gender
Politics.
politic episode, yeah.
Ahoy.
And they're the writer, right? So
Yes.
This is a much
I think it's
Better.
handled. I think it's
take.
handled much better.
Yes, yeah.
It's
It's very hard to come down on the wrong side of
maybe
this. In terms of like media tend to be more liberal towards this kind of issue.
that's true in a sense. I think maybe I'll talk back around to that.
Maybe
in
we'll
my-
cover
my
the themes
points.
of this episode in
Yes.
its own
Yeah.
right later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you are saying people who love each other shouldn't be together, yeah, it's hard to like come out looking good in that
Yes,
argument.
yes. That was kind of more what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Rao's also been involved in a few shows you may have heard of, such as Becca, The Nanny.
I'm sorry.
Becca's about a grumpy person.
It's about
Becca,
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
Yeah, Ted Danson.
Ted Danson owns.
The grumpy person.
No, he doesn't own. He frequents a
bar.
coffee shop.
Nope. I'm thinking. Okay,
You're thinking of
because
Cheers.
but he is in Cheers and Becca are a crossover, right?
No,
No.
no.
He's almost playing the same person, but they are not in the same.
Yeah,
Right.
one's a
They're
doctor.
not in the Cheersiverse.
One's a, well, because the Cheersverse is Cheers and Frasier.
Frasier.
That's
Yeah.
right, Frasier. That I knew something was connected. To
Yes.
Do you
Cheers.
call it Fraser?
Sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry. Don't hurt me.
the short-lived Brendan Fraser
Yeah,
sitcom.
that's right.
Who's
That's
right?
great.
Who's
I would
right?
watch that. I would watch it. It's Frasier.
Frasier.
Frasier. Okay.
Yeah, with Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah. Niles.
The air date was my 19th birthday, July the 8th, 2010.
Because the other
Stop giving away personal
I
information.
don't care anymore.
No, because the last episode he based as it was like what
A week before.
So clearly, the way Sean counts is just he works
From
from his 19th birthday, and then he works either backwards or
forward.
forwards.
Hey, it worked for Jesus. So
I am like
this
Jesus.
all of recorded time.
Well, I've been born
Yes.
now.
I'm podcasting Jesus.
Well, I'm 33, and it's 33 AD.
AD.
Well,
AD.
not after death.
No.
What do we call it in
Allo
between
Domini,
BC?
in the
Also-
year of our Lord, not after death. Sorry.
Mr.
Well,
Oxford
I'm
over
dead
here.
now.
Also, are you at least happy that we replaced one Oxford studier with another Oxford?
It's pretty
Study
clever.
it.
Yeah, it's one for one. We're all interchangeable. So
Yeah, you all come from the same womb.
What?
all the Oxford children.
He's my
Oh,
brother
right.
from another educational
It's
institution.
a-
Except the same institution. Oh, forget it.
You tried to be too hip.
Yeah.
I'm introducing no one that's really going to be prevalent in coming forth, but we do get the return of Mr. George Takei.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's introducing Unit as a previous lover of Farnsworth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty integral to his backstory, I guess.
Yes, immediately forgotten.
Yeah.
Anyone else introduced?
Introduced?
I mean, the horse that dates a ghost.
Yeah.
Many pride robots.
That horse will be much more important in much more important storylines going forward.
Yes.
Really?
No.
No. Never seen again.
Maybe? Maybe.
Introducing
really
hot dog robots.
I'm really upset. I wanted to know more about this ghost and horse.
How did you guys come to be?
Yeah, literally how? Like,
How?
I'm just so confused. I want to
Also-
know everything.
Also, sorry.
You go.
Also introduced ghosts are real in the Futurama universe.
Yeah, because the only other time we had it was during the honking, and it turns out to come from a router.
Well,
Yes,
Like,
it's
the buried router was the ghosts that were haunting Bender.
That's right. Yes.
Who
yes.
else are horses gonna date?
I don't know. Whoever they want.
That's
minute.
true. Oh.
Wait a minute. Didn't Farnsworth also say in that episode, and we all know ghosts have been extinct since the 26th century?
Maybe. I don't recall that well.
I think so.
Continuity error.
Either Farnsworth was lying,
Or he's wrong.
or he's wrong, which is also very likely.
Could also be plain insane.
That might be the last ghost, which would be very tragic.
Or beautiful. Because it
Yes.
found love.
Or tragically beautiful.
Because it found love,
Love
but also
with a
it
horse.
must see the horse die.
Does it make a ghosty horse or a horsey ghost if they have children?
What is the fundamental difference
I
between a
want-
ghosty
I want-
horse and a
I
horsey
think
ghost?
one's transparent and one's flesh.
Okay.
Like it's either a very wobbly, fleshy horse
That is a horse.
so sorry,
You've
Al.
just described a horse, though.
or a very transparent horse.
I want a centaur, right? A centaur that's half ghost, like, so maybe just the horse can't like quite. I don't know, like half the horse is ghost and half it's not.
If you're
Okay.
wild, if you happen to be wildly unsure of what the hell we're talking about, Phil is about to regale us with the plot
Oh, I forgot what we were talking about.
of proposition infinity.
Oh, right. The
Yes.
Futurama
Yeah.
episode we just
Sorry,
watched.
banish
Okay.
the thoughts of ghost centaurs from your mind.
It's very tough. So this is an issue episode that is all about robosexuality, a extremely thinly veiled foil for homosexuality.
Oh.
What?
Did you not get that? Sean?
Oh.
I let my child watch this.
I just thought it was about horse rights.
Today I learned you have a child.
I asked you last week if you were pregnant.
And you can have a child.
Well, I guess technically you weren't anymore.
Yes, you brought it to term within the last week. Let me get to the plot of the episode. Everyone be quiet.
No.
So Kif and Amy break up at the beginning of the episode over the issue of Kif being a big wuss and and Amy flirting with all of the bad boys instantaneously upon meeting them. The bad boy she ends up flirting with after their breakup is Bender,
Whoa.
who she bailed out from being a street artist,
Yes.
a la Banksy. They start dating. And they get caught dating, which is very taboo in the Futurama world, when the crew go to wrangle or tornado for the collection, Professor's collection of pickled weather.
What was that for? Do we like?
It was
For
a
the county
state
fair.
fair.
Okay.
Oh, county fair, not
It's the
state
county
fair.
fair.
Oof. Well, you got to win the county and then move up to the
The
state.
state fair level, yeah. So he's making pickled weather, and they
Yeah.
go to wrangle a tornado, and they get caught, which causes them to institute a nationwide campaign, maybe an earth-wide campaign, to legalize robosexual marriage. They end up debating Farnsworth, who is against robosexual marriage. And at big twist, they find out he's against it because he had his heart broken by a robot. Oh,
Poor
oof.
Fonzie.
Oof. They end up legalizing
Marriage.
robosexual marriage because of this. And in the end, what spoils the marriage between Kif and Bender is that
Kif and Bender.
Kif and Bender,
Amy.
Amy
and
and Bender.
Bender.
Kif and Bender would be interesting.
That would be
marriage.
great.
Totally incompatible. Is that it's revealed at the last second that she wants a monogamous relationship, and that's just not going to fly.
Wow.
And in the end, we get Kif rock up on his bad boy motorbike with his bad boy leather jacket.
And his skirt dangerously high.
Oh,
Dangerously
and they
high.
ride off into the sunset back together. So the status quo is restored.
Yeah.
There is a whole thing that I haven't covered where Bender gets taken to a conversion therapy
Oh yeah.
Right.
clinic, and Amy gets taken home
To the Wong
to the
Ranch.
Wong Ranch to both of them. It's basically their society's reaction
Yeah.
against their sexuality.
And the very important side plot of Hermes gets a sickness.
Yes, he gets circusitis.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Maybe he cures it by using weed, which is why he's so fervent on legalizing it.
He really.
I do love
I
that.
have to say,
Yeah.
it's my favorite joke in most media when you have someone like protesting a specific issue and you just have all the stoners in the back being like, yeah, legalize it.
Actually,
Such
we
a
were,
good
we
joke.
talked about it earlier. I think that might be one of my favorite lines. Which is like, we're talking about robosexual relations, and he's like, we're talking about lots of things.
Yeah, Hermes is great in this episode.
He's good. He is good. He doesn't have a lot to do, but what he does is
Oh,
great.
man.
My gentle fellows, what are our thoughts?
What? Yes, you.
No,
I can go? Thank you. I think this episode benefits from wearing its themes on its sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
On its sleeve, it doesn't try and it's obvious that it's what it's talking about. It doesn't try and go, oh, we're gonna try and bury this under the surface.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what this episode is about. We're gonna find a lot of analogies for it, and we're just gonna say what our opinion of this episode of this issue is.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. I think that's good. I think if they'd tried to bury it too much, it would have come across as contrived. Instead, they're like, we're contrived. We don't care. And so I like that. And it's a good issue
Yeah.
to talk about.
I like that Futurama in most of its kind of issue episodes isn't too like both sides is dumb, whoa, like having opinions on things is stupid, a la South Park. This is this is controversial, but I feel like South Park does that a lot, where it tries very aggressively to paint itself as centrist.
Yes,
But as a result, you're just giving both sides a lot of ammo to then hurl shit at each other. Whereas I think Futurama, in all of its issues, does at the end of the day kind of
picks a
show
side.
which one it leans towards. It still makes fun of like if people are extreme on both sides, but it does kind of lean to one side is more what we feel.
I mean, this is pretty damning of homophobia.
Yeah.
This,
Oh, yeah.
this episode.
Yeah.
The thing that springs to mind is the religious figure Preacher Bot, who
Oh,
gets off
that is-
on watching robosexual
I find
encounters.
that really deeply unsettling.
That-
I don't know
oh.
about you guys.
That's the most disturbing Preacher Bot has ever been.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it took a dark turn very quickly.
Well, I guess not a dark turn, as we've just seen more of Preacher Bot, I
Yeah.
guess. A la, other kind of so many scandals in it's usually Catholic Church, but all kind of forms of organized religions that preach to kind of be against perversion, sexual
Sure.
perversion, always have the most perverted fucks at the top.
They do. I mean, there's this thing about repression, right? Where people are repress the things that they're ashamed of.
Yeah.
But doesn't remove the existence of it.
No, so you
in
just
them.
learn to hate it more and treat it more as a deviance, and you hate that part of yourself. So
yeah.
then you project that part onto other people. There's a really good quote that it's like, sex is like food, and the two people most obsessed with food are people who overeat and people who starve themselves.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing. It's just a normal thing that you do.
People who are most obsessed with sex are like perverts and repressed
Yeah.
individuals.
And for normal people, it's just like, sex.
sex is good.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting that you were talking about the way they approach the
Dragon
episode.
dildos? Whoops.
That
No.
too.
They're natural, guys.
So Cohen was saying, like, in regards to Proposition Infinity, they said they paid specific attention to developing the plot in a way that would history-proof the episode and avoid being over-politicized or preachy. When taking on real social issues in the show, Cohen stated that one of their methods of keeping controversy from overwhelming the episode is to futurize issues until the audience is unlikely to have developed a strong opinion one way or another about the presented conflict. This was the method used for Proposition Infinity, as a team felt that most viewers would not have a strong opinion for or against robot and human intermarriage, thus lightening the potentially polarizing nature of the source material. Seems like it didn't quite...
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Because I feel the episode should have gone a bit stronger into some of its issue. Like, I think in what they're talking about future-proofing it, they've just kind of played it safe. I think it's, I would have liked to see a more in-depth analysis at this issue, personally. While I think the episode's kind of nice and tight, it does feel a bit frivolous in certain places, but mainly because I'm not really following the character beats. Like, I feel like no one really kind of learns anything or really grows. I mean, Farnsworth, I guess.
I mean, yeah, Farnsworth definitely has a massive change of heart. He does have that kind of growth. This episode, I think, is meant to follow Amy in terms of her change and growth. It opens with her, and it kind of closes with her.
It's an Amy episode.
It is an Amy episode. It doesn't exclusively focus on her, but it's meant to be about her journey away and then back to Kif, I would say.
Yeah.
The thing I would take issue with is that if that's their intention,
then
I think they failed, because it's not. You can say, "Oh, we futurize it so people don't have a."
It's
have a
very
strong
clear
opinion.
what it is.
It's super clear. It's
Yeah.
very, very clear what the episode is about.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at a gay pride parade. Like, it's very clearly rainbows, and like it's
Yes!
very clear what it is.
They talk about
sausages.
Yeah. Yes. It's all about the sausages. They talk about being pre-op transformer.
I do very much love that line.
It's not hidden at all what it's
No.
actually about. I don't think that's a problem.
No,
personally.
I
it's
don't
just
think
if
it's a
that's what they were
problem.
going for. It's like, we've been subtle.
Yeah, and also
yes, Michael Rao.
I love
So subtle.
I love the parody of the another thing I was going to mention, how we talk about media generally comes out pretty favorable in debates about equal marriage and everything like that.
Creative media,
But where they have the bit in this episode where the news talk about completely unbiased reporting, and now we have an ad sponsored by like the No campaign.
Yes.
And that's so true. Like, I cannot tell you, when Australia had the plebiscite, it seemed like so often people were like, no, I'm for it. Yeah. But then you have these same news programs who are being like, yeah, the plebiscite, come on, guys, we should make this all equal. Anyway, now to our ads. And they're just like all of these ads sponsored by No campaigns being like, what? The next thing, my son was asked to wear a dress.
I do love that No advert, though. It is hilarious.
It is
What was the
very
mother's
funny.
reasoning? She was
Because her son was going to wear a dress.
No.
That's why.
No, her reasoning is even thinner.
All
Yeah.
right.
Her reasoning is, because imagine some bad things that will happen to my children because we can't think of any.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought
Oh,
you
no.
were talking about the
in
specific
Futuramaverse,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
in Futurama,
I'm referring to a
literally
very-
cannot think of any.
Because it's true. It's like, well, there is one ad I've seen where they're like, Mummy, if gay marriage is legalized, will you not love me anymore?
Nope.
But the dad goes, no, I'm afraid not. But hopefully that day will never come. It's just
wow.
It's so
That's
funny.
awesome.
It's so funny.
The arguments here were like some crazy shit, like, oh, next up, people marrying the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's like, no.
No, that's not.
We're
the
not
next,
legalising
That's
that.
not the next. That's
Legalize
not,
it.
That's, but even so, fine, legalize
Fine,
it.
who
but
cares?
But it's not the next logical step.
No, it really isn't.
Gay marriage, Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Yeah.
Marrying their pets.
People
and-
always jump to bestiality, and it's like,
They
I'm
do, yeah.
sorry, but can my dog help me with my taxes? No.
Maybe.
Once for
We've never thought of
Once
this
for
before.
yes.
That's why my tax is always fucked up every year. I don't have a
You
dog.
don't have a dog. That's
Does
why.
Fry do anything in this episode?
No.
Or is he just part of the group of
He
Leela,
rescues-
Zoidberg, and Fry that and Leela, Fry, and Zoidberg that are just, yay!
I think Leela, Fry, Amy, and Zoidberg become Power Rangers in this episode.
Do
when
go
they're
on.
when they're all in the human suit together, because it's not an oversized suit, right? But then
It's
when
ever so slightly oversized.
Yeah.
It's not for humanoid
No.
creatures.
No.
One of them
But
being
they're-
Zoidberg.
but they're all in there, and I think they've like Power Rangered it, and like each one is a specific limb.
Someone stuffed in the arm.
Oh, the Zoids. The Zoids. That's great.
That joke is hilarious. It just
Mega-
keeps getting worse.
Maybe we should
Mega
have stayed on the
Zoidberg.
ship.
But to answer your question, the one thing that Fry does that you were getting
Rescues
at
Amy.
is he goes to the Wong Ranch and rescues
It's
Amy.
quite
That was
sweet.
with
lovely.
awkward winking.
With the winking.
Yeah, it is very nice, I will say. It's weird also, continuing on from our last episode, Fry and Leela are not really acting like a couple anymore.
No.
I know it's an Amy central
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, there's not really
But,
much for them to
So
do.
last week they made a really a big point of they are friends, to the point where Leela actually says to Fry, "You're a good friend."
Oh.
Yeah,
They don't
it's-
act like a couple at like the episode.
But in the first episode, they do.
I know,
And the second
yeah.
episode, it's all about, take this painting. I love you. Oh, you have to sleep with Zap. Oh, okay. I'm not
Yeah.
going to watch. And then it's
Yeah.
just like did having sex with Zap just irreparably damage
Yeah, it's not
He
really.
says he's okay with it.
Yeah,
I guess inside he wasn't.
Oh.
it's not really important to the episode. It's just interesting to note when Futurama has been really specific with, like, continuity can go out of the window for certain little gags and whatever. Usually by Farnsworth just going, "Shut up! I changed my mind," or whatever.
Or it's science.
Yeah, or science changing. But like with relationships and stuff, it's usually been pretty consistent.
I think
And
they're
it's
on a
just,
break.
Yeah.
They are on a break. For all you Friends references out there.
Yes,
You're
yes.
welcome. You're welcome.
I suppose we've bypassed the thing of like, can robots consent? Like, they are
have volition,
basically humans.
Yes.
So
They can vote, so they've got basic rights.
oh, they can vote.
Yeah, because Bennett just forgets.
Oh, that's right, because Americans write this show, and you can just not vote in America.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's so weird to me. That concept is still strange. Yes, Mr. Phil.
Oh fuck! I
I've
think
rem-
it's gone.
I've remembered something.
so
I've remembered
sorry.
something.
I'm
So
so
when
sorry.
what the year of your 19th birthday? What
Yes.
year was that?
2010.
Okay, wow, this
Okay.
reference is so out of date. But
Let's
they
go for it.
them referencing the movie Twister. Like how the
Do they reference
yeah,
the
but
movie?
when they're chasing the tornadoes.
What do they say?
Well, it's more when they're like quick down into the basement and then they run into the little wooden basement and like shut the sliding door things that are also wooden. It's just very reminiscent of the opening of Twister.
Right.
With, I think
Because
it's
Twister's 1996.
1996. It is.
I was
how did
five.
this-
I think they were just doing like you go into your basement to hide from
But
tornadoes.
it looks so much like the same
Granted,
one
I
where
haven't
Helen Hunt's
seen
dad
Twister
is just like.
in
he
like
just-
20 years.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's so I rewatched it because I was listening to a podcast just talking about like how the fuck did this get nominated for whatever it got nominated
God,
for?
nominated
It's
for
so
stuff?
so dumb.
Oh.
And like Helen Hunt's dad, it's the opening because apparently it's like Jaws and she's got to chase this one tornado that killed her fam. But like. Yeah, her dad. They're in the little basement thing, and it's got these wooden sliding doors. And the dad like goes to shut the door, and he gets like sucked out. But everyone in that is fine, and so it's like, how the fuck do tornadoes work? How do you
Nobody
think?
knows.
How do
Nobody
you
knows.
think tornadoes work, movie? Because the dad gets sucked out, like he's very close to the door, but everyone in that same basement is just fine.
Can we apply that same question to Sharknado? Because I feel like that's a direct sequel. There are 5 of those, by the way.
I want Helen Hunt in Sharknado.
There are 5 Sharknados, and all of them have Tara Reid.
Oh, bless.
Would she just star for work or something?
Yes.
I mean, not gonna lie, I would do
Yes.
Sharknado.
Yeah.
I
Would you do
would-
5? Would you do 5 Sharknadoes?
What was the one that
Do they
John
all
Barrowman?
pay?
Yes.
Yes.
What was the one that John Barrowman was in?
Ooh,
I think
one?
I don't think it's Sharknado. I think it's like Megalodon.
Oh, Megalodon
something.
versus Crocosaurus or
Yeah.
something like
Because
It
there's
might be
like,
octopus. Someone got about octopus.
Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus.
Yeah.
Because
There
there's
we
like a
are.
bit where he's just improvising because no one is doing anything, and this actress is just giving him nothing, and it's in the movie where he's just like, so how about we come back to mine and I eat your pussy, and she's like, what?
Does that work?
Yeah.
Does that work in that movie?
I don't know.
Does it work in
I
life?
don't. I
don't
don't
know.
buy it coming from John Barrowman. But
What about John Goodman?
sure, yeah.
John Jarrett? No.
He seems like a giver.
I do love that the ship has a basement, by the way. Just to go back.
Oh yeah,
to
that's
the
a new ship function.
And
Just
I also,
has a basement.
yeah, I also love pickled weather. That's so cute.
Yeah, Sunny is really
Yeah.
nice.
It reminds me of BFG. If anyone read the BFG, the Roald
Does he
Dahl
have
book.
pickled weather?
He doesn't have but he catches dreams in jars.
Oh, he
And
does.
you can
Oh.
like
Yeah,
he
see
does
them.
too.
Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
It also made me
What's
think
his
of
grandmother's
Cloudy with the
recipe?
Chance of.
Cloudy with
Oh,
a chance
yeah.
of meatballs. I love that.
Was it?
It's cranberry raisin typhoon, I think.
That's
Oh.
right.
It seems delicious.
It's-
I
Seems
actually
like-
did get a bit hungry.
It seems like a classic grandmother dish where it's always got cranberries in it.
Speaking of functions, Bender does have at least. He's got a loop that can go through for abseiling down. Like
Yeah, he has a little
Ah.
hook
The abseiling
harness
equipment, the
for him.
harness?
Yeah, he has a lot of mosaic tiles inside him.
Oh yeah, I really like his street art though. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's really
mosaics.
wicked.
That is one of the most satisfying noises that I've ever heard on Futurama. Him
They
putting
use it.
together
Yeah.
the tiles
It is very soothing.
They use it
isn't
for something else.
Do
It's
they?
not the first time they've used that noise.
when he shits a brick.
That's a lot more violent.
They've definitely assembled things with that lovely sound before.
No, I know the sound you're talking. That like nice little plink
Yeah,
noise
yeah.
Of tiling. Yeah, there has been some.
I think if maybe he like builds something really quickly with bricks.
I don't know.
Just message us. Tell
Oh,
us.
by the way, I've also thought of a side mission as that we will have to
Go
do.
for it.
Is I'm going to get someone, probably Callum, because Callum watches a lot more of the second series than we have, and we're going to have a Futurama quiz
Oh,
based on
we're
shit
gonna
that we
suck.
probably should know, and we absolutely won't.
Could we?
We won't.
Could we
We
also
won't.
have a section of that quiz for our own fucking podcast?
Oh my
And,
God.
Like things that we've said. And like, no, I never said that. Or
Who
just
said
like,
this?
in episode.
Who said this quote?
Yeah, that would be really good actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would
if it's
be.
bitch, it's probably Ellen.
Yeah.
bitch.
Self-indulgent, but great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I love it. Sorry, you go.
There's a little issue I take with some of the gay stereotypes in
Yes,
this
sir.
Yes.
episode. So there's one of the robots in the gay conversion
Reading Esquire magazine.
Right.
That guy.
Yeah, he's got like sweat back
quiff.
hair,
Moustache.
a moustache, and a sweater around his shoulders, and
Yeah.
he speaks like that.
Yeah.
It's lazy. It's a little bit lazy. Thankfully, they don't put a lot of
Yeah.
onus on that character. They're just sort of there, and there are lots of like really diverse
I
people at
think
the
that-
parade that kind of save it.
Yeah, I think the thing is with those ones don't bother me too much because there are people, who are like...
There are people who are like that.
Because I remember talking about Queer Eye with someone and they just found Jonathan Van Ness a bit off-putting because they thought he was just too much. And it's like, but the thing is, he's not doing any, like, that's him. And there's, like, plenty of ways to express yourself and
It's also okay to find someone's manner
too
incompatible with your taste.
That's true. That's
fine,
true.
yeah.
I think they thought it was. There's a sense that they're putting this on or something like that. Yeah, but when you add the fix to that is just to have more characters in general. Like
Yes.
everyone have expressing themselves in different ways. Oh God.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention hopes deleted.
Oh, the goon, the goon,
goon
robot.
Aw.
Goon is boxed wine for us Australians. I love a goon bot.
It's really
She calls him like a soulless, emotionless automaton.
husk or something.
Yeah, he just hopes
Hopes
deleted.
deleted.
It's so tragic. I love it.
I have a favorite little thing. If you need to
Go.
evade kind of religious groups, you just say, "Look, a single mother. Let's get her."
And they are all over that.
It's so good.
Oh, they just want
I
to
love
punish
it.
her for her
Oh,
life choices.
How dare she?
And Ellen, you as a single mother now understand that completely.
Oh yeah, I have to remember the canon of our own fucking podcast.
Which was in the pre-roll, so it may or may not make it in. Otherwise, who cares?
There's a recurring...
Woo!
Sorry, dear listener.
You've been gone for a week, Phil.
I can no longer handle myself around a microphone. There's a recurring joke around Bender's accordion. He claims it from the jail when he first gets it, and then it appears later in the tornado when all their clothes and belongings are whooshing around in the tornado tube.
Yeah.
And I think it appears once more as well.
Yes.
But I can't remember where.
Also,
But it just amuses me that he has an accordion.
wait, well, has he? Because he's had musical instruments before. What was the little piano during Godfellas that he
Is it a
brings?
Oh,
toy
yeah.
piano?
Yeah.
I think so. It sounds like a kind of harpsichord, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's a
I think it's a
piano.
toy piano.
Yeah. Which he gets very frustrated at because he gets one wrong note. It's great. I gotta say,
Pianists are like that.
Bender and Amy together, kind of hot.
Yeah.
You reckon?
They kind of work.
I was digging it.
There's a lot of we talked in an earlier episode about how the creators were like, don't worry, the episodes aren't all about sex.
Ah, yeah.
And then this
So
one is all
Yeah.
about sex.
So far, it's been pretty sex heavy.
There's so much nudity in this episode.
Even in last week, wasn't the tattoo on? Wasn't Susan Boyle on her
on
butt?
Layla's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had a single nudity-free episode this
so
season.
much nudity.
Whoops.
All that HD capability now,
Bender wearing Amy's sweatpants.
Oh,
It's
I
so
love
cute.
that. That's hilarious.
but also his response. I would buy it.
I stole them.
I stole them.
I
yeah.
buy that. It's really good.
That's true. I don't think Amy and Bender should be together because, like, Bender constantly brings Amy down.
I think it's a short-term fling. I think
That's
it
true.
works in
That's
that
fine.
sense.
She gets
Yeah.
what she wants out of it, and then
As fuck buddies, they're great.
Yeah.
But in a relationship.
Oh, like I mean,
Yeah.
it's hot. Strictly, just it's hot.
Oh, right.
It's
yeah.
hot.
Yeah, them like fucking
Like when the
in
tornado
in the,
goes away, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
oh.
I was more thinking like the glass tube when they're traveling in the glass tube and they're going at it. I was like, there's something very racy about that situation.
Did you also notice
It's
that
like sex on
Bender
the bus or
stopped
something.
being Bender and it was just John DiMaggio voice? Where what does he say? He says,
Fuck, I love John DiMaggio.
nasty in the tube.
Yeah.
And it's what John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio's sexy. We all know this.
And he also runs he also is part of a country band. I'll show you the new.
Come
YouTube
on this
clip later.
podcast, John DiMaggio. I dare you.
Double, triple days.
Also,
the way Bender proposes. Oh, sorry, you go.
No. Mine's a post thing.
Oh, the way Bender proposes, he just goes zzz and
Bender
lowers
function.
himself.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
so cute. I love
That
that
is
so
How do you
much.
say no to that?
you don't.
No.
He says yes, but you know.
That's how you say it.
You also are waiting for them to break up. You know that they can't
Oh,
be together
yeah.
at the end of the episode. You're just waiting for the thing that ends the relationship.
And I do love the Kif, like, you know, Danny Grease reveal.
Oh,
where it's
he's
like,
so
look,
cool.
I would have loved if he like had a cigarette. It's just like, tell me about it, stud. Like it's so good.
How good that there's no whiny Kif after the breakup. He comes back later. He's like, hey,
He needed to work some stuff out.
You want to
clearly.
get back?
Yeah.
Because
He wasn't like, yes.
well, I think the thing I was talking about, how I don't think Amy really grows. It's not really about growth this episode because the one who needed to mature in that situation is Kif.
Kif it boy.
Really? Because he's like, oh, stop acting weird around guys.
Yeah.
I'm feeling insecure, which is not Amy's problem at all. It's not her problem. And so he goes away and clearly he's worked out some stuff.
Not to get into a gender politics debate, but I'm going to
Let's
get into
do it.
Let's do it. Even though Sean has already made the wrap up this episode sound.
Patented wrap-up symbol.
I think to a degree you're right,
Mm-hmm.
but also they need to set clearer boundaries.
Yes.
They do.
And it's okay for him to have a problem with her getting physical with guys in
That's-
front of him.
Yeah.
But if that hasn't been set as a boundary,
Yeah.
then it's not
If you
her
then
problem.
have if you then have the conversation and she still says no, I'm going to do it, and you're not okay with that, then end the relationship
Yeah,
because clearly
yes.
you're not on the same wavelength.
It's
Yeah.
not inherently bad.
Yeah.
But I can see why he would have a problem with
But
it.
that's it's also a good thing to not have that conversation right out the bat. Because you're so emotional that it would come out like, just stop, I don't like it, I'm feeling insecure. Like, you need to go away and go, why does this bother me and why should it? And, like, what do I actually need to address here? And then you sit down, you have a lovely talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
The relationship advice from Shut Up and Take My Podcast.
And the next lovely talk we're going to have is about what this episode, how does it stack up against our previous winner, Rebirth? Rebirth or Proposition Infinity? Rebirth or Proposition Infinity?
I'm going to say Rebirth.
Rebirth.
I'm saying Rebirth for me personally. That's my vote. I liked this episode, but I didn't get a really big kind of. I didn't get a lot of satisfaction out of the culmination of it. Like I'm very interested in conflict and drama with the characters. But then the lovely thing about Rebirth is these characters, the relationships we've known have grown over these things, and they've also had things added from the movies. It's just a bit more of a nice payoff. I do think this episode addresses things in a really thoughtful way, which is good, especially considering Michael Rao, his work on Bender, which made me just furious, like chomping at the bit. Fucking hated it. But it does. I don't think it really gets its teeth in as much as it could have with some of the issues. I think it's a nice, we're on the right side here. So do we need to do much?
So Phil, Rebirth or Row? Rebirth or sorry.
The problem is you keep saying it after someone's already like.
I did such a nice word. Sorry,
is
Phil,
nice.
go.
I don't have an opinion.
I will turn my mic. I'll turn my mic off.
No,
You didn't do it.
all of our voices are important. Okay.
So I'm just going to go on entertainment value
Mm-hmm.
as my main one, and I think Rebirth is a more entertaining episode.
Yep.
It's sillier, it's funnier, it's got higher energy, and it uses the entirety of the cast better. Not to say this is a bad episode that isn't entertaining. That is not the inference you should take from this. But it's not as funny and it's not as energetic. It just doesn't. It's a middle of the season episode for me, and Rebirth just has a pow. You're like, oh, this season's gonna live up to the rest of Futurama. I really like Rebirth.
So you vote for pow over row.
Correct.
Nice.
Correct.
Nice.
So,
What about you, Sean?
well, this episode is an Annie-nominated episode. So it was
So-
nominated for both Best Writing by Michael Rao as well as Best Animation Program. This was the episode that was put forth for the season as a whole. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. I don't know what. I think I was hesitant because this is a topical episode.
Yeah.
And because we're in the new season, there's still that inherent fear of, are they going to go too far with
Yeah.
it? Like we had with Killer App, there's a problem
yeah.
of how contemporary are they going to try and force it.
And also in an after-school special, you're kind of like,
How
man,
Captain
I get
Planety
it.
are we getting?
I get it. I don't
Yeah.
need...
I thought there was a lot more jokes.
Drugs
in
are
here.
bad.
I loved a lot of the jokes in this episode. I was entertained.
Oh yeah, totally.
By this episode, I thought it was great. I love the focus. I love episodes every now and then that kind of pushes Fry and Leela to the side.
For sure.
Even Zoidberg gets really pushed to the side, and we're focusing on like Hermes is the B plot and Amy's the A plot.
Yeah.
And Bender. It's crazy.
Yes.
I want
But
to see more of that B plot.
Hermes' slow struggle with death. But Rebirth to me, it did invigorate me wholeheartedly. I thought, oh shit, if this is where the whole season is at, this is the energy and kind of the passion that's going forth, we're in good hands. Rebirth lives to fight another day
Definitely comes in hot.
until...
Yeah, nothing wrong with this episode. Well, I wouldn't say there's nothing wrong with this episode, but we're not saying this is a bad episode.
No.
Yeah.
So Rebirth will have to struggle against next week's episode, which will be the Da Vinci Code.
One thing,
That's so a joke that someone in the 90s would have made.
yeah. I do wonder how this particular episode just I know just to squeeze in a point I thought of while you were talking is that like how will it look in another 10 years time? This is an hour long.
We have 1 minute to wrap up.
Okay.
Do you want to guys?
So tell us at home what you think this episode will feel like in 10 years time.
Yes.
And guys, if you'd like to tell us that, you can do so by emailing us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com.
You can also find us on the socials, particularly Facebook, where you can get in touch with us.
Yep. We're also on Instagram where you can see our beautiful faces. If you like this or if you hate it, either way, just give it 5 stars. Look, it doesn't really matter too much to you, but it means the world to us.
Go
So
to that podcast app, that iTunes app, and just smash that review and rate, and we'd be ever grateful. Yep. Until then, I've been the ever grateful Sean.
I've been Ellen.
I've been the never grateful Phil.
Guys, how do you want to spend the last 10 seconds of our time
We didn't
together?
do a voice.
We didn't do a voice.
Let's do George Takei.
Oh,
Oh,
my.
my. I want to do William Shatner explaining why you didn't pay.
You got 2 seconds.
Well, I am
Clothes
the key
and
master.
Barbies and
Novelty dildos.
Yes.
Looking at a sponsorship from you, Bad Dragon. Why haven't we gone yet? There's so many tentacles in our show. We should be prime for a Bad Dragon sponsorship.
we should get all the sponsorships from not from Audible.
No,
No.
from Bad
not
Dragon.
From fucking Bad Dragon and Fleshlight and
Yeah.
Flesh.
I'd love if they gave the
Fleshlight? What
is
fleshlight to me.
fleshlight?
He's
God.
never heard of a fucking fleshlight.
It's a fake vagina.
Ooh.
It's a sleeve for your. Oh, I needed a
dick.
good rhyme. No, it's too
Sleeve
late.
for your
dick.
Weave.
Yeah. So it's called a fleshlight because it looks like a flashlight.
Yeah.
It's the shape of it.
Have you
Yeah.
seen
But it
the
has a
Heineken?
nice penis in
Yeah.
it. What?
No, you put the penis in it.
Oh yeah, it has a nice penis in it.
When
As
you've
of,
put
when you put your nice penis in it.
Today.
Oh, I've just
this week.
realised I've googled fleshlight. I don't want that in my.
Ew.
But anyway, that's a
Oh, you've
flesh.
done it. You've done
That's
it
a
now.
fleshlight.
Oh, that looks
So
lovely.
it's just have you seen?
There are ones that show like pictures that show like a cross section of it.
Now, like
They're
weird,
pretty horrifying.
weird segue, but I actually do need a flashlight for the kids production I'm doing tomorrow.
Flashlight.
I have
though.
a flashlight in my car.
Do you?
Fucking
Do you need it?
Luddite.
Can I
What?
can I use it for the next
It's
24
one of
hours?
those-
Sorry, I'm not meant to be
It's one of
nice. I'm meant
those-
to be nice.
It's
I'm
one of
so
those
bad at
hand
this.
cranks.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, that's cool. I remember when
Uh,
those were first invented. They were,
Yeah.
oh my god,
I don't
they're
know
amazing.
if they last very long, but you can certainly borrow it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine halfway through this the theatre show, there's this.
Oh wait, actually no, that's probably.
Before we get into this, I need to discuss something with you.
What would you like to
What?
discuss, dear Phil?
Tumblr shooting themselves.
Unfortunately-
No, that's
No,
not a
like-
criticism.
No, like my ear, like my life feels half redundant orally.
That's what I keep saying.
Sean.
Sean's
Oh,
going
there's so
out.
much to unpack there. I don't
Sean's
know where to
going out with
begin.
I hope prostate exams, like to soften the blow, they get
Shakira's
called
there.
Heinecams.
Shakira.
Okay,
Well, the
I
I
problem
think it would be much more pleasant for people. It's
If
like,
they knew it was called a Heinecam.
not a colonoscopy.
No, it's like, right, so you're 40, so we need to give you a Heinecam.
Well,
Oh, okay. Oh no.
what's the haps,
Gun-
paps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're, go-
There's Pappy, I guess.
If you don't greet your like,
we're gonna
the
give
person,
you a hot pappy.
if you don't greet the person doing your pap smear with what's the haps, paps, you're doing it very wrong.
Yeah, so wrong. Isn't Pap like
You have
a
some-
homogenous goo? Like
Don't talk about my.
my father that way.